Hi, everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Peter Bradley, and joining me, as always, is the Professor Tim Vargulish.
Salutations and thank you for having me.
Also, I can't keep that dumb voice going for like that long, so I'm
I don't,
ending it there. I'm killing
I
it
don't blame
quick.
you. Yeah.
I'm killing it quick. Yeah, Screams After Midnight. It's a horror movie show. We talk about horror
hmm
movies every week, sometimes twice a week,
From the past and the present.
from the past and the present. This one is from the past.
Yeah.
Fairly in the past. We're going back to 1980 for a
Mm-hmm.
film called The Changeling, and
hmm
it's directed by Peter Medak, and it stars George C. Scott, who is a pretty famous actor from back in the day. Probably, this is probably the only thing I know from the 80s that I've seen him in. He tended to be in a lot of stuff in the 60s and 70s. Um,
He sounds like the kind of actor that like old ladies get all wet for. Like,
uh,
ooh, George C. Scott. Ooh.
sure. You might know him from Doctor Strangelove and Patton. He was in The Hustler and 12 Angry Men's in fact, actually, that was a TV movie, 12 Angry Men he was in. No, I'm sure he was in the original.
I've
I,
never
I'm,
seen any of those.
I'm glancing at his IMDb, and I'm sure he's in the original. I'm scrolling down. It's going to annoy me if I don't confirm this. 1957. I love that movie. Where are we? Huh. I could have sworn he... Maybe he's got a dad who was in it, because I swear there's someone who looks like him that was in that movie. Oh well, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Does not matter.
Fun fact, the C stands for Clooney.
Does it?
Yeah, George Clooney Scott. That's how George Clooney got his name.
Are you making this up, Tim?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah. As far as I know, nothing to do with George Clooney. So we're talking about The Changeling, which is a movie about a haunted house that...
Actually, I should probably say this is not the 2008 Angelina Jolie movie.
That's true. I was hoping by saying the director and the year that I'd already clarified that. But yeah, just in case you still thought it was from 2008 and it was still Angelina Jolie.
Someone could have thought, like, oh man, they really got a lot of their facts wrong.
No. So this is a movie about a haunted house that George C. Scott's character moves into after the opening of the movie, where his wife and child are both killed in a horrific car accident.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Yeah. And it's like a big truck as well that actually hits their... Like, they've stopped the cut. Actually, we're still in spoiler-free territory, right? We're going to do
Okay.
spoilers later on. We'll do spoiler crypt, as we always do,
Yeah.
like, part way in. But this is the first scene of the movie. This is a setup, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you this. Right, so... Like, they stop... Him and his wife and his kid are travelling somewhere or other. And they stop the car so he can go to the payphone, which is a very, like, present day thing, because no one does that anymore. Everyone's got phones. But he gets out, goes to the payphone, and while he's in there, his wife and his kid are like playing a snowball fight or whatever out next to the car. And this truck like rams into the back of their parked car, which then rams into them, killing them dead. It is like
Yeah.
really like almost over the top in how brutal it is. But that's the setup of the movie. He also, his character is a composer.
And-
He's like a music teacher type guy.
Yeah, just real quick on the wife and family thing. Really not needed. Like, the movie could have just been about
An old guy
a
moving
guy-
into the house.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. There was I kept thinking that was gonna have something to do, and you could probably I guess I won't mention too much because we're not in the spoilers, and like I don't know, maybe you could draw some parallels between
Yeah, thematically, I can see why it's there.
Yeah.
It's relevant in some senses in terms of like comparing to the backstory of some other stuff that we get to later, which obviously we won't spoil. But yeah, like because one of the things that I thought would happen when the haunting stuff started happening in the house is I assumed that he would think it was his wife and kid
exactly.
at first.
Right.
And I'm actually kind of glad that that didn't happen, because that is almost a cliche, really. But this is a movie that is kind of a unique perspective almost, because it's not often that the protagonist in a story like this is a man who's like in his like 50s, 60s.
True.
He's actually quite old for this. And I kind of... One of the things that sort of stands out about this movie is how almost laid back and very gentlemanly everything's presented, in the sense that he goes and sees like someone about what's going on, but it never feels like there's like big scary stuff happening where he's in that
Yeah.
much danger. It's just these little weird things are happening, and he starts researching it. I'd almost say this movie's more of like a mystery investigative movie.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Although I do like a new genre that you came up with, gentleman horror. Uh, I would,
A
I
gentleman's horror film.
yeah, I would definitely be down to see more of these.
Because he's always in a tweed jacket. He's always,
Yeah.
he goes and he asks people and talks about what's going on, and he's always very polite about it. It's never, it's not until really right at the very end where shit proper goes down.
Mhm.
He's never, like terrified, or he wants to know what's going on. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a weird thing, and because of that, there's not much tension. Like there's it's not scary or like tense really. It's just kind of like it's just almost fun to watch someone with a fairly level head go
Yeah.
through the story. Like like you're so used to people like shrieking and screaming and like scary stuff's happening, but no, he's very like he's a gentleman about the whole thing.
Yeah, no, and then it's strange because of the like time of this movie. Well, I guess it's like super early 80s, but you would think, most horror movies would, go the route of like, shrieking teenagers and kind of stuff. So it's yeah, it was kind of interesting to see this like different perspective.
Even if it's not teenagers, I'd expect a movie like this to be about a family with kids,
Yeah.
or even if it's just a couple, they'll be at most like touching middle aged.
Yeah.
Whereas here, this was an old guy who has a bit of money and he's going to rent this house because it's isolated because he's a composer, so he plays like music really loud on his piano and all that, and that's why he wants like something that's like away from everyone else. But fair enough, like that would make sense. Like if you're
Yeah.
someone who's going to be bashing out like music at all times of the night and you want that freedom, sure, you get a house that's fairly secluded.
Yeah.
And weird stuff starts happening, and noises and creaks in the night and all that kind of thing. And
It would just sorry. I just started thinking like I'm surprised they like haven't like remade this movie yet and like made like the actor like Zac Efron and made him like a DJ instead of a composer or something. Like it seems like such like a Hollywood move.
also known as a dick move.
Yeah. I'm not saying I want it. I'm just saying like I'm surprised that hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, well, not Zach. Who did you say?
Zac Efron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? I went to say Zack Snyder. I'm like, that's not right. That's not who he said. Yeah, Zac Efron's already been in a movie about a DJ.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
What was it called? We Are Friends or something like that?
Yeah,
was-
something really stupid like that.
And it made like no money opening weekend. It bombed harder than one of your pickup lines, Tim.
Wow, it was a unexpected low blow, but fair enough.
I'll be honest. I said that bombed harder, and then I didn't have like a punchline, so that was the first thing that came in my head. Like I needed to think of something that worked, and that just worked.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. As a comedian who's probably had to like bail himself out of some shit setup jokes, you probably kind of sympathise with that.
Oh god. Yeah, I have some stories. I'll tell you about some crazy ones off air, but
Yeah, not for on air, no.
right.
So yeah, but I'll give you the setup. I've told you what it's about. Did we enjoy it? Okay, yeah, I did. I had fun. Like,
Actually I think you might be surprised, but I actually enjoyed it as well. I feel like these usually are not the type of movies I usually go for. I feel like they tend to bore me a little bit. It's even though it was 1980, it felt like earlier than that. Like, and maybe it's just because 80s. I feel like we tend to have a certain visual, style when we think of it.
Obviously, like being exactly 1980, it would have been filmed in
Yeah.
the 70s, and obviously there was a transitional period. It's maybe 82 before you're really in the 80s in terms of what you feel like a movie from the 80s is.
Yeah, but just kind of like going into it and just like seeing it start and kind of being like, I might not like this. I never heard of it, and it's probably kind of an egotistical thing to say, but like I've seen so many horror movies and stuff that it's like when there's one that I haven't heard of, sometimes you get like a little like, well, it's probably not very good if I haven't heard of it, which which I hate to admit, but I get like that sometimes, and then. Yeah, and then going into it, I was kind of like, I don't know if this will be my bag, but I was pretty engrossed the whole movie. Yeah, it's not very scary, but I thought it was interesting. I liked where the story went. It had a good, yeah, it's like kind of like a mystery,
Do you know what?
and
Do you know what I think worked about it to its credit? And I thought we said about how it's like an older guy and that the gentleman aspect of it, but I think what worked as well in its favours. Typically, and I said it's usually a couple or a family.
Mhm.
There's usually one who instantly believes there's something going on, and then there's a skeptic who doesn't.
Yeah.
It kind of makes him be both, and he's kind of
Oh, it's true.
skeptical.
Yeah.
He's kind of like skeptical, but he's like hearing and seeing stuff, so he's like, I need to get to the bottom of this. It's the investigative
Yeah.
part of it. But he is like, he's not someone who immediately goes, oh, there's stuff going on.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that, but yeah, you're right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then like when there is like creepy stuff happening, I thought it looked like pretty cool. Like
Yeah,
um
it was very almost subdued. Like they did really
yeah.
simple things, but it
Yeah,
usually meant something. So
like again, don't want to give too much away, but I liked what happened like in the like very very ending. I thought that was cool.
yeah.
Um
Um,
yeah.
no, some standout moments, but I mean, ultimately, it's George C. Scott as an actor just carrying the movie with
Yeah.
his, like skepticism and like, but knowing something's happening and wanting to get to the bottom of it, and uh, so no, it's I thought it was enjoyable. I mean, I can
Yeah.
see why maybe we hadn't heard of it until recently.
Yeah.
Like, you can see why it's
And-
maybe not like a big classic that people make a big deal out of, but at the same time, it's
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those like lesser known movies, but I would hazard a guess that people that have seen it probably for the most part enjoy it.
yeah. I think it's one of those things where it's not that it's kind of forgotten to a lot of people because
Mhm.
it's bad. It's just it got overshadowed by like The Shining
Mhm.
came out that year, for example,
Oh yeah.
and you compare this to The Shining. Like, yeah, The Shining is a better movie that's really visceral and like you know
Yeah.
you're shitting your pants in The Shining, and then you're thinking like deep about it. Whereas this is more classical almost, but it's fun in a sort of classical kind of scary, haunting movie kind of way.
Yeah. With that definitely.
Uh, so I think that'll do for spoiler free. We'll head into the spoiler crypt.
Ooh.
Alright, so we're getting to the spoilers. So full spoilers from this point on.
Hmm.
Alright, so the ghost. Now, I didn't know what the title of the movie was about until he said it, because he says the title like
Yeah.
really late on in the movie. I'm like, oh, right, okay, I get it. Because it's a ghost, because the house he's in used to be like an orphanage like 100 years ago,
Hmm.
and so we find out he investigates, and it turns out like this guy kills his son because his son's going to inherit everything and he wants it, but if his son dies out of like weird circumstances,
Yeah.
he won't get anything. Like, he sort of changes his mind and he ends up like recruiting this other kid to pretend to be his son.
Yeah.
Um,
Jesus, like how much did your dad hate you to
I know,
have
I
that
know.
like weird stipulation in your will?
Because that guy's still alive. He's like a senator, this fake son, and
Yeah.
Scott goes to try and see him, and accuses him of all this, and like, because that's what again, like, he just wants to know what happened. Because when he finally gets to see him, like at the end of the movie, and the guy just thinks he wants money, so he starts writing a check, and he's
Yeah.
like, look, I'm not like. Look, I mean, he can afford to rent this house, so he's clearly a fairly well off dude. Like, I don't imagine this place is
Yeah.
cheap. Like,
Yeah.
so like he's like, I'm not here for money. Like, I need to know. Like, 'cause I like that part of his character. I liked that it was
Yeah.
just about knowing.
Mhm.
So what moments did you like? I liked the whole like the ball that his son or his daughter used to play with,
Oh yeah.
and like it
It's-
comes down the stairs and it creeps him out. So he goes
Yeah.
out. He drives out to like a bridge where there's like a
Yeah.
river. Throws it into the river, comes back, opens the door, and immediately the ball just comes down the stairs again. And the ghost is just like, yeah, fuck you, old man.
Yeah, that was definitely good. I like the imagery of like the wheelchair, I thought that was creepy.
What do you mean when the wheelchair started chasing someone?
Yeah, it's his like his friend, that
Yeah, it's
girl,
the, it's
whatever.
the it's the real estate agent that he kind of
Yeah,
starts having like a relationship with.
yeah. But yeah, I like that part that she falls down the stairs. That was good, and just the kind of like the look of it, like I guess kind of like that whole attic, and then like the wheelchair. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, this is like an old timey version of this thing. Like if it's just a regular looking wheelchair, like it wouldn't really be that creepy.
Oh yeah, it's like a really old school with a really tall back. Yeah.
Yeah,
But no, that was fun. The scene with when they actually have the medium come over to,
yeah,
or the medium. Sorry, I said medium.
Mhm.
To like try and contact the spirit. He starts
yeah,
asking all these questions, and again, I'm seeing things that I've seen before, but like it does this thing where it doesn't go over the top. Like it's not trying to shock you constantly with things. It just gives you enough to believe there's something going on.
yeah.
So no.
There's kind of like a like in the whole movie overall. There's just kind of like a quiet creepiness to it, where I feel like, I mean, maybe we're just so used to like, big loud jump scares and stuff in movies now. Um,
There's also a helicopter
yeah.
coming for Tim right now. He's he broke into the Pentagon or something. The feds are after him.
uh, but yeah, like I always appreciate this like more subtle approach where I guess maybe there were a few jarring moments when that it was a cop that dies in the car crash. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that
Uh,
just kind of showed up. Yeah, do you know what it feels like though? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this
hmm,
whole like gentleman's horror, like standing around, like talking to people and trying to figure things out. It's a
yeah,
lot like movies that you would get in like the 30s and 40s about
yeah,
things like this.
mhm,
Like not exact same, but like you think of like the original Dracula and stuff like that, and all those
mhm,
kind of movies. You picture like fairly well off rich people, like in
yeah,
their suits, in their manners, like drinking whiskey, and be like,
mhm,
"Oh, Scott, I've got this problem. We should talk about this." And oh yes, yes,
yeah.
that's very weird. We should get to the bottom of this. I'll get my gentleman on it right now, right away. Godfrey, like it reminds me a little bit of those where so much of it was like them talking about what was going on.
Yeah.
Partly that was limitation because it was like the 30s and 40s and they couldn't really show a whole
Yeah.
lot. But it was just kind of like a throwback to that, which is weird to talk about a movie from 1980 being a throwback to another era because that's now like almost 40 years old now. But,
Yeah, I didn't really think about that, but no, that's a very good point. I can definitely see it being like that. Like I could very much see like a staged production of this. Like it could easily like play out
just in
like
the
in that.
house, if you
Yeah,
yeah, if you sort of you just have like the people he talks to come to the house for the
yeah,
appointments or whatever. Yeah, I like that at one point like he discovers, all right, so the people who own this land, like the house used to own like a lot of the land, like it was surrounding it, like acres
yeah.
and acres of it. And he's
Mhm.
like, right, so they buried the kid in this well that was over here. Okay, what's there now? Oh,
I,
this random house. Okay, so I got the house. Knock knock. Excuse me. Can I go into your son's bedroom and dig a hole? Now, luckily, the
yeah,
son's been experiencing also ghostly things, so the mum's
yeah,
willing to go along with it. But I just like how insane is this? Which, by the
yeah.
way, that really reminded me of The Ring.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
'Cause it's a
um,
well under a building, and like there's a body at the bottom of the well. Like that's really like The Ring,
this is very ring-like. Yeah.
Ring-esque.
Oh, that would be funny if
What Sudoku was just like down there.
yeah, well, I'm trying to think like what it would have been for this time, like a cursed Betamax. So that
To be
someone would
fair,
watch.
VHS and Betamax were pretty much at the same time.
Yeah.
I
Mm,
mean,
fair enough.
maybe Betamax preceded it by a couple of years. I don't know. But
I don't know. I was just trying to think of what the 1980 version of that curse would be.
yeah, still be VHS.
After you watch it, then the payphone rings and you gotta run across the street.
Tim, they still had house phones. Your whole thing's just not working. Your whole thing's just not working. More of what you would say is like, what would the version of it be like in like the 50s? Because there was no VHS or Betamax. It would be like film reels or what about if it was like 1920, right? And it was actually like a radio program. It was like a radio recording on the old wireless. And then you get a call through like one of those old phones that were in two pieces. You had to hold the other bit up to your ear, you know. Or like 200 years ago, where it'd be like a written thing, and then like a bird messenger would come and drop off like a parchment that said you're going to die in 7 days. There you go.
I'd watch that.
Maybe
that's what Rings is about.
the Ring 200 AD. I just give you the plot right there. Right.
It's like smoke signals. Like,
oh dear. But Sadako's not at the bottom of the well. It's just the body of the. But even him like finding the bones down at the bottom of the well reminded me of the Ring. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean that is very Ring-like, and then just the idea of this person trying to like uncover this mystery.
Yeah, and it's like
very Ring-like, and
it
it's also
a parent killing a kid.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. It's actually a lot of similarities.
I think we've just uncovered that the Ring from Japan's even a remake of this movie, just without the videotape part.
I always had a sneaking suspicion that there's something that movie wasn't telling us.
Yeah, something was always awry. Although, I mean, the third movie was always like clearly a Carrie knockoff. So I mean, why not have this be a knockoff of something else?
Yeah.
But no. So what else? What other big moments would we like to discuss, Timmy?
I mean, I don't know if you want to go into it yet, but I really liked the ending. Just like kind of like going back and forth between the like the senator and then I forget George C. Scott's character's name, but like when he's in the house and then just like it start at like the banister like catches on fire and it just kind of all
well because I like that George C. Scott sort of runs up the stairs and then like it starts like shaking or it's like an earthquake almost in the house. And like the banister falls away, and he's like hanging on for his life, like at the banister.
So I actually thought that was like really kind of exciting, and I thought like it looked cool.
Do you know what I think part of that is? I think it's because the rest of the movie's so reserved, and it doesn't do crazy stuff like this. That when it properly goes apeshit at the end, it feels like big.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, you're right. And then like the senator's like looking at the necklace thing, and it's like it like transports him there, even though he's actually still just sitting in his office.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of cool. Like that's again, like not really something that, at least I can't really think of like seen something like that before.
Yeah, I do like. So I mean, I'm guessing just the ghost is the dead son who's like wanting like vengeance.
Yeah,
but I'm guessing that's just kind of what the whole thing was. But no, it's
maybe he like needed someone to kind of uncover all that so he could get because he brings him like a medal to the senator guy.
The necklace thing, the little medallion. Yeah.
So maybe like
it's that the recordings of the seance and like a folder of like information, and specifically George C. Scott says, "I came here what I needed to do, or I did what I came here to do." When he leaves.
Oh right, yeah. So yeah, maybe like the ghost wanted to get his revenge, but he needed to have some type of contact with the guy or something. So he brought his medal there. So I mean, I don't know, but
so George C. Scott's character at the end should feel like a patsy because he's helped murder happen.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because let's be honest, it's not his fault that he was this imposter. It was the dad's fault. He's the one who did everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I mean, in reality, like the ghost has kind of been a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, I know the senator dude is kind of like covering it up, but I mean, would you like tell people that you were faked? Like, someone gave you a new identity, and also if you admit this, you'll lose all the money you have, which in this case is a lot of money because he's like rich.
Yeah, I can't see myself doing that.
Yeah, I'd be like, you know what, it's fine. Just call me Johnny. That's fine.
Yeah, especially like after like if it was like a month or something that you've been doing it, fine. But when you've been doing it for like 50 years.
More than that, because he must have been like 10, because he'd have been the same age as the kid when he got killed.
True. Yeah.
And now he was like at least in his 80s. He was an ancient dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
He's an old fuck.
He was. Dear. Actually, I like the scene when George C. Scott goes to him when he's getting on his like private jet.
Yeah.
And he's just like raving like a madman because it's the only way he can get his attention. It's like the only time he doesn't act reserved is in that scene because he has to like wave the medallion so that he knows he means business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But no,
yeah,
good movie.
yeah. I don't know. It's. I mean, I hate to do like have like a short episode. I don't know if I have much more to say. It's
I mean,
like it's. I think it's pretty entertaining. Again, I was pretty surprised going into it. I thought like, oh, it might be kind of boring, but
yeah, no,
yeah.
I was into it. I don't think it's like amazing. It's not like, oh my god, this is like a hidden like big gem that I found. Like, but
Yeah,
no, but it was an enjoyable movie, and I'd recommend it if you like these
yeah.
kind.
I think it's a good watch. I don't really feel the need to own it. I wouldn't mind watching it again, but I wouldn't be in a rush to watch it again.
Yeah, it's sort of thing where if you're flipping through TV in 10 years and you catch it, you're like, oh well, yeah, I remember this. This was
Yeah,
not bad. I'll watch
yeah,
this.
definitely.
But no, it's a fine movie.
Yeah.
But I guess with that we can get to some ratings.
Things.
Yes, the ratings that we always like, which or as we call it in this show, biscuits
Let's
out of
get
10.
um. I again I think it's thoroughly entertaining. Kept me interested. Yeah, more of a mystery, not super scary, but there is some cool, creepy stuff in it. I'm kind of flip flopping between like a 7.5, but I'll go ahead and give it a, edge it up a little bit, give it a 7.5.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm in the same ballpark. Yeah. Yeah, I think 7.5 sounds quite reasonable. I feel like 7 feels too harsh, 8 feels too high, so yeah,
Right.
7.5, yeah, there's a good target for it. Which is, a recommendation. I think this is a good watch. If it's a rainy day, you want to put on a sort of horror movie that's just kind of comfortable to watch. Like I say, gentleman's horror film.
Gentleman's horror. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a new subgenre. I'm going to start organising my movies by subgenre, and there's going to be like a gentleman's horror. I'm going to buy this just so that I've got something in that section.
I like that. No, that's definitely how it should be watched. You should have like a nice little 3-piece suit, like a little small little cup of brandy sitting next to a fireplace.
Yeah. Brandy, maybe a cognac, something like that.
Yeah.
Tweed jacket. Yeah. Yeah. Preferably have some facial hair.
Oh, definitely.
Have a nice, good grey beard. Yeah. I think that's how you do this. Yeah, that's the Changeling. So, yeah. No, fun movie. So, I guess that brings an end to this streams after. What's that time of night we usually go by?
Trying to think of funny response. Is 2 a.m. funny?
This has been Screams After 2 a.m. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. I don't know if that's funny, Timmy. I really don't. I really don't know.
Who's to say? Comedy is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's not the only thing that'll be in your eye if you keep giving me shit like that.
Oh, I just tried to wink and I couldn't even do it.
Yeah, I can't wink either. That's a little known tidbit about me, folks, is that I can't physically wink.
Oh, interesting.
Like if I try it, my other eye like closes shut. See, that one's even worse. That eye almost completely shuts. If I try to wink my right eye, my left eye almost completely shuts. If I try and wink my left eye, it's a little bit better, but my eye's still squinting. Like it's not very.
Like, I just love to see you like at a bar, like send a girl a drink over, and then when she turns over, just seeing you trying to like be like,
I learned a long time ago that I just don't have that in my repertoire. I have to substitute something else for a wink. So instead of a wink, if I'm trying to chat up a girl, I'll just go. That's a substitute.
I want to see that.
Want to see that in action? Yeah.
Ooh, don't do it to me.
I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding. Seriously, this is pure fiction. This is pure fiction.
Friction.
Fiction. Although friction can be arranged.
Oh my.
Oh dear. God, what am I meant to do now? I'm meant to tell you about Twitters and things, aren't I? Wibble89 is my Twitter. Tim Vergulish is Timmy's Twitter, obviously with the ats in front of it, because all Twitters have those. Mailed Fuzz is at mailed_fuzz. You can also email us, mailedfuzz@gmail.com. Also enjoy the non-horror movie stuff that we do on 1.21 gigawatts that I do with Matt. We just did a review of Star Trek Beyond, and we did Ghostbusters, and we did other things.
Yeah.
I'm selling this wonderfully. Like, I should be a salesman. Also, we do TV reviews over and Almost Cancelled on the Mailed Fuzz TV YouTube channel, as well as the DC Comics podcast, Comics from the Multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, you know what? I'm not going to draw the plugs out. I'm just going to say, you know what? If you like us, help us out. Give us a 5-star rating, like us, subscribe. You know, let us know in the comments what you think. If not, messages on Twitter, whatever. Mm-hmm. It helps us out a lot. All of it helps.
Mm-hmm.
Every
little bit helps.
Every little bit helps. Mm-hmm. That's also the slogan to one of the supermarkets here in the UK.
Oh, God.
Every little helps. I can't remember which one it is, and that's really going to annoy me now.
That sounds like so needy for like a big grocery chain.
Is it Asda? Yeah, maybe Asda's or Walmart, for reference.
Oh.
Is it Asda? Or is it Tesco? I don't know, I can't remember. That's really going to bug me now. But no, that's been Screams After Midnight. That's been us talking about the Changeling. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. Keep watching Scary Movie, guys. And always remember, don't ride a wheelchair down the stairs in the dark.